All right, here we go. Sammy the Bull, welcome back.
My pleasure, bro.
Interview number 2.
Yes, it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a few years. And what people don't actually know is that the first interview almost didn't happen.
Right.
We had a little bit of an argument.
Yes.
Before things started.
Right.
You were getting ready to walk out. I was ready to let you walk out. And your granddaughter actually got in the middle of it.
Yep. Zaza, yeah.
Exactly. She was a peacekeeper in this whole situation.
Was a peacekeeper. She worked everything out. She calmed everything down. So, yeah. Well, I remember. I don't remember the actual argument, but I do remember.
Right.
We got a little hot.
Yeah, a little bit. And I know when I mentioned that story, people always ask me if I was scared. And I'm like, no, I wasn't scared. It was just business.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no, I don't think he was scared either. He didn't know I had a gun.
All right, let's get into it. Now, there's a couple things that we didn't get to cover last time, and one of which was the whole Arizona situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk about kind of what led into all this. So, in 1994, you got released from prison and you entered the witness protection program. And they kind of hopped you around different places before you ended up in Arizona. So where did you go initially in witness protection?
When I got out, I think I told you before, I wasn't going to stay in there. I had money. I didn't want to change my name. I didn't want to do any of these things. And the government called me up and said, listen, Sammy, the government did you right. You were involved in 19 murders. You wound up getting a 5-year sentence. And if you don't go in the program, they're going to look like shit. So give them some time, give them something so they could pound their chest. And so I agreed to giving them 1 year. And when I started, I went down to Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. And I was there for maybe 2 weeks. I didn't have any ID or anything. I was around the hotel all the time. And I guess they had other people who had cooperated. And they wanted to move me just so I don't bunk into them or whatever. And they moved me to Dallas. Mm-hmm. So I stayed at Dallas for a while. Same exact thing happened. And then they moved me to Colorado. And I was in Colorado for a while. And an agent came over to me and said, why don't you go out? Because I was in the hotel most of the time. And I said, well, I don't have a license. I don't know the area, so where would I go? What would I tell the cab driver? I don't have a car. So, and then they said, listen, you want to take a ride this weekend? Have you ever been to Boulder, Colorado? So I said, no, I was never there. So I said, but yeah, I'll take a ride and we'll go there. And we did. We drove around. It was beautiful. I got out of prison. I was in good shape. I worked out. I jogged all the time. And there was paths with people jogging and a river flowing, and it was beautiful. Right up my alley. I see kids, a lot of kids, young college kids. And so there was a place we passed that it had for rent signs on it. And I asked the marshal, I says, could we stop here and just see what the story is? And we did. So we went in, they showed us around. It had a country club with a full-blown gym, in-the-ground pool, basketball court, racquetball courts. It was really, really nice. So I says, could I see the apartments, what it looks like? And they said, do you want to be over the river or do you want to be in the woods, in the boonies a little bit? So I said, over the river. What's that like? Let me see that. And they took me to an apartment. We opened the sliding doors. It was a bullshit little apartment, 1 bedroom, living room, small little kitchen area, and the stove and all of that on the side. And when you opened the door, I walked out on the patio and the water came right up until the building and about 60, 70 feet wide, a river flowing down. And somebody, while I was out there looking, was coming down on these little canoes or whatever it is, shooting down there. Right across, there was jogging paths and people walking dogs and people jogging. And I said, oh, wow. I looked at the marshal. I said, yeah, I like this place. And he gave me the nod. I rented the place, and that's where I was staying. I loved it. I walked around and I went into the areas. And it's a lot of colleges in that area, ton of fucking college kids all over the place. And I went to places there. It was a little boring at first because every table had 4 or 5 people. I'm sitting at the bar or at a table by myself. And one day I'm sitting at the bar. I got a steak. I got a whole thing. I went to go to the bathroom. There was a girl sitting behind me. She was in her mid to 20s. It didn't look like she was that young. And on the way back, she had a pad and she was drawing. She was sitting by herself. And I looked at it and I said, wow, that's beautiful. I do artwork. And I said, that's beautiful. I said, what are you going to college? She said, no, I have finished college. I came back and I'm doing design work and stuff like that. And she said, you're sitting at the bar? And I said, yeah. She said, would you like to sit with me? And I sat with her and started hanging around. She took me around, you know, and I bullshitted about my name. I had a different name.
You were Jimmy Moran?
Yeah, they named my name Jimmy Moran, so I had a different name. I was never married. I didn't have kids. I give it all. You got to lie about all that stuff when you're in the program.
Yeah.
And so she took me to places, and we hung out for a while, and we went around. And after I was there almost six more months, which gave me about 8 months in, and the phone rang one day, and she saw me on television.
Okay.
So I didn't know who it was, but I heard a woman's voice say, now I know who you are. And she hung up on me. And the next day, the marshals called me up and they were going to come to my apartment. They wanted to talk to me. When they came in, by this time I had a car. It was snowing a little bit. On my windshield, there was a note from her to me. They got it, they read it. And on my door, there was another note. And they got that, and they came in, and they said, Sammy, she knows who you are. And it said in the note, I fell in love with you. You lied to me. You were married, and you had kids. So they said, we're going to take you to Seattle, Washington, and you start all over. I said, no. I promised you a year. I got 8 months in. I don't care if she knows. It don't matter to me. I'm not worried about it. But that's the rules. I don't care about the rules. My rule is I was giving you a year. He says, well, then you would have to sign out. Then give me the papers. I sign out, which I did. I got the papers. I signed out. And I left Colorado and went to Arizona with my family. And that's where I wrote the book, Underboss.
Mm-hmm.
And I never saw her again. And that's the way it worked. That was my little time in there. And when I got back to Arizona, when I signed out, I actually turned my name back to Salvatore Gravano again.